Okay, thanks for having me. My name is Zhenlei. I'm an Android engineer. And since Gingerbread I was working, so that means I worked for a long time as an Android developer. And during my journey as a developer, I learned so many shortcuts. And it's time for me to share with everyone. My talk is a shortcut for your productivity in Android Studio. If you went to the keynote yesterday, so some topic that I will talk here, you will sound repetitive, but at the same time it's good because we can recap them. So let's start with the agenda. First, I will talk about the problem, how I struggle to learn the shortcuts, and then I will talk how I developed the shortcut mindset to remember the shortcut and how to use it. Then I will do a quick demo. It'll be my first time doing some live demo, so I hope everything goes well. And then, last but not least, final considerations about how to use the shortcut mindset. So let's start with the problem. So during my journey, I did so many pair programming. And I was amazed with a developer, a colleague, that he was using and abusing of shortcuts. He was so productive. Was like, we are not doing pair programming. Was like triple programming. It was me, my colleague, and Android Studio, because the Android Studio was doing so many things for him. And I was super impressed with this. Meanwhile, oh, I think the slide is not showing here. It's not in sync. Yeah. Oh, fuck. OK. No, it's not showing. OK. This is my image. So as I mentioned, I was doing pair programming and was impressed with my friend. And meanwhile, I was proficient in touchpad. I was really good. But I was not productive like my friend that was doing all the things with shortcuts. So I want to be like him. So I decided to download this reference chart and try to remember all the shortcuts. This didn't go so well because it's really hard to remember all the shortcuts. Also, I try to do more progress in small steps. Every time that I need to use an action, I can try to look through this list. But the list is pretty big, so it was really hard to find the shortcut. And when I find it, I was super stressed about this, so it didn't work. So I just went back to my old, comfortable way, touchpad. So, but you might ask, how did I develop the shortcut mindset? So then in this section, I will give you 5 steps that how I developed this shortcut mindset. First, you need to understand what is a shortcut. So if you go to in the dictionary, you'll see this. It's a key or combination of keys on a computer keyboard program to perform a specific function when pressed. So it's a combination of key. And it's not showing, again, it's not in sync. OK. So you have, it's not just, OK, so it's a combination of keys. As you can see, the keys can be the shift, the FN, the control, the option, and the command. So it's the combination of those keys plus a key code. This is how the shortcuts in Android Studio works. Usually it's this kind of combination. So you need to keep in mind this kind of combination. The second point that I want to mention is create a mnemonic. So that means create association with the shortcut and the action that you want to perform. If you see, the shortcut is created by human beings, an intelligent creature. So they don't create the combination of shortcut from nowhere. So they need to create some association. And let's go to some examples. For instance, you might know this command X. X, if you see, is to cut. It's like a scissor, easy to remember. And then there is the command C. C stands for copy, easy to remember. And then there is the command V. And the command V is the glue nozzle tip shape. OK, you need a little bit of imagination in this case. But you can think maybe the guy decided to use the command V because it's next to command C. So it's next to each other. So it's easy to remember. Cool, right? And then the third point is try to remember sometimes less is more. What does this mean? There is this example here. That's the refactoring the code. So if you want to extract some code, you can use this command, option command V. Why it's not showing? And why the command V, not just command V? Because command V is to paste. So if you use the option, you avoid this conflict. So this is to extract to a variable. So you can extract to a constant, extract to a field, extract to a parameter, and extract to a method. Easy to remember those shortcuts. And then there is another thing that is the Shift F6. What is this shortcut for? I cannot remember this shortcut because it doesn't make any sense. For me, all the shortcuts that use Fs doesn't make sense for me. And this is to rename. And I just freak out because I cannot remember this kind of shortcut. So maybe there is a better way to remember all these shortcuts. And then there is this one, to remember less. Just remember the Control T. T stands for refactor this. Yeah, I have a lot of imagination. Then maybe you can say transform because you are refactoring some code. So you are transforming one piece of code to another thing that's better, or to translate. Cool. When you execute this command, Control T, then you open this, pop up these windows to refactor this. So as you can see, in the right side, there is all the shortcuts that you don't need to remember. But if you want to remember, every time that you use, you can try to remember. And also, you can use the numbers, 1, 2, 3. So you can perform those actions as well using the numbers, 1, 2, 3. Or you can just type the command that you want, and you just execute. And the fourth point is to find patterns. And I don't know if you thought about it. What's the shift used for? And if you go again to the dictionary, shift is to exchange for or replace by another. To sum up, is to change something. So when you have some command like this one, command tab, the classical switch between open apps, they switch the apps forward. If you apply the shift, they just change the command to go backward. OK, let's see another command. Command E. Why E, not R? Because R stands for replace. So we have some conflicts. So let's use the second letter of recent. That's E, command E. If you do this, then you open this pop-up to show the recent files that you open. And if you see here on the top, there is this show edit only. If you type again the same shortcut, they will just show the files that you added. Cool. What happens if you add shift in this case? So we will make the command more powerful in this case. They show the preview of the open file, the recent location that you open the files. And beside this, the same. There is this show edit only. If you execute again, they will just show the recent edit location, the thing that you touched with the preview. It's really, really nice. And there is the paste, the command V. If you add the shift, you make the paste more powerful. Then you open this screen to choose the content to paste. This is really cool because sometimes you have a boring task that you need to copy and paste, copy and paste. Then this time you can do copy, 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 and then just paste, 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 and you can choose from this screen and paste. So you can do faster. And the other point is find patterns. Like he uses shortcuts from other softwares. Like if you go to Chrome and use the shift command, close bracket, they will navigate forward between tabs. If you use the open bracket, they will go backward. These shortcuts is the same in Android Studio. So you can always learn all the shortcuts from other tools, other software, and he uses in Android Studio, or is exchangeable, not always. And then the most important part of this talk is a key takeaway is the progressive learning. So in this part here, I will explain what is progressive learning. So there is this article that is explaining. Progressive learning is a pedagogical movement that emphasizes teaching children how to think rather than rely on rote memorization. I will underline how to think, because in order to memorize, it's really, really hard. So if you know why the guy created this kind of combination of shortcuts, start to thinking, what he did this way, you will memorize out of the box. So then I will explain here the methodology that I use to learn shortcuts. So methodology to remember the shortcuts, just remove remember and try to use understand. So the goal is to understand the shortcut instead of just remember. So you are programming some code, and then you want to perform some action. So you search for the shortcut. And if you find the shortcut, cool. Try to understand the shortcut, why the guy created this kind of combination of shortcuts. And the shortcut doesn't exist, just assign the shortcut. and then execute the shortcut. And again, if you forgot the shortcut, again, search again, if it exists, you understand, execute again. This is just a cycle. So more you use the shortcuts, more you learn. And each shortcut that you learn is only for you. So each shortcut set of each person is different for other people. So let's now go deep in each point here. So the first one is to search for the shortcut. So you can use the search everywhere, shift. I don't recommend to use this one because you look for all the files, classes. You just want to look for actions. So let's use the shift command A. A stands for actions. So then if you use this command here, it will pop up this yellow terminal that I don't know what this is used for. I just found on the internet how to disable. So it's a shortcut from the system that opens this search main page index in the terminal. So you just unselect to disable. You can unselect the other shortcuts that you don't use from the keyboard system. So there is a link on the bottom that if you want later to disable it, they explain better. Then when you execute this kind of command, for instance, I look for the command format, they will appear with format code, the option command L. L stands for me, reformat these lines of code. So for me, I remember this way, the L. So as you can see, when you look for the action, you can learn the shortcut because the shortcut is next to the command. And if you see here on the top, there is this option enter. The option enter is like for me, tell to the system, show me more options, try to help me, show me the intention of what I can do here. And in this case, is to add a shortcut. So let's see this example here. There is the command fetch that I use a lot. So then let's use the option enter to create a shortcut for this. So now is the most important part. You need to think about which kind of shortcut I can use, which kind of combination. I cannot use any letter, otherwise it will be really, really hard to remember and to understand. So then we can use the command F, because F stands to fetch, but command F is to find, so we have a conflict. So it will be really nice you avoid those conflicts, because otherwise if you do a pair programming and you work in the computer for your friend, won't work because you change all the shortcuts. So in this case, to avoid the conflict, why not use option F? We don't have any conflict anymore. So now I can use this shortcut. Cool, just recap the flow, the flow. So you are programming, you search for the shortcut, use the shift command A. If it exists, just understand the shortcut. If it doesn't exist, use option enter to assign the shortcut. So these two commands is the most important. If you want to remember shortcuts, just remember these two. It's the most important. How to search and how to create, because the search makes you to try to understand the shortcut, and if it doesn't have, you can create. Cool. Now let's go to demo. So I have here the Android Studio. Here is the structure of the project that I can show you here, the left side. I have the source, I have the main here, Java, I have the shortcuts. So this demo will be in the GitHub, so you can download later. Can you see the letter? If you want, I can increase the size of the letter. Is this better? Yeah, OK. So then I have the talks here, and I have many examples, and I go through them. So the first example is two windows. So if you see in the two windows, there is the command 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So command 1 is to open the project. Command 2 is to open the bookmark, and so on. And if you see why the terminal is option F12, I have no idea. So I don't like this, and yeah, in this case, I want to change the shortcut. So what I'm gonna do is command shift A, look for terminal, option enter, and I change to command 0, because now you make more sense, because it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I have kind of OCD. So now I can use the terminal easily, command 0, because I don't want to have another terminal and open in front of my Android Studio. I want to use the Android Studio IDE. So command 0, I have the terminal. Cool. This is for the two windows. Now let's go to example 2, 2.md. Bookmarks. So this is a nice feature that a lot of people doesn't use so much. I never seen people using. I also rarely use this case because I just use when I have a big project and need to investigate some code. So for instance, I will open one file here, home view, fragment. I move here. So I have a huge piece of code here. So what we can do is use the option shift number. So I'm here, I just option shift number 1. So you can see the number 1 here. I can go, for instance, navigate inside the view model, for instance, and I added the command shift 2. Cool. So you can navigate super deep in the huge project, and then you can say, OK, control, that go to the bookmark 1, they navigate to the number 1. Control 2, they navigate to this piece of code. And then, if you want, you can open the bookmark, that's command 2. So then you can see all the things that you bookmarked. So if you have a huge source code and start to navigate, you can get lost. You can bookmark them. So this is the bookmark. Let's just delete this. OK, cool. Let's close those one. Now let's go to the example 3.md. Navigate. OK. So you have the shift, that's search everywhere. You just hover over in the classes. You can see it's a command O. You have it for files. If you hover over as well, they're going to show the shortcuts and the symbol, the action, and so on. So you can use those things that I'm using to navigate through files, for instance. And then you have this back and forward. This shortcut is really, really nice. For instance, I will open the home fragment again. I'm in the binding. I'm in the onCreate view. Now I'm in the onDestroy view. So if you use the navigate back and forward, they will navigate back, and they will navigate forward. This shortcut is the same in the Chrome. If you start to navigate to many web pages, and you start to use this command, they will go back and forward the pages. And there is this second command that is navigate to previous and next method. I'm here. I can use this shift, control, up. So I navigate among methods. I forgot to mention. Can you see there is a pop-up of the shortcut in the bottom? In order to enable this, you just need to enable the plugin presentation assistance. So maybe during the pair program, you want to show your peer how you use the shortcuts. And then we have this navigate to the test class. This is really cool feature. So for instance, I will navigate to the home view model. And then I have this view model. I want to create a test for this. Usually you go to the package of test and create the test there. No, just create the command shift T. I have already the test, so they can navigate to the test. If you don't have a class, for instance, I have the dashboard view model, command shift T, they don't have. So they created the test for you in the correct package. And it's really cool because they create here the test. OK, I can add the version control. And then if I do so then they create here the test for you. Super cool. And then you have this another shortcut, that is the F12. And the F12 is to move to the next highlight arrow. What does this mean? Imagine that I have this code here, and I add, I don't know, a comma here. So we have like an arrow here. So you want to look for the arrow. Usually, sometimes you just go, oh, it's red here. Let's try to click here. Oh, and they navigate to the arrow. Too much work. So just use F12. They navigate direct to the arrow. Cool. Then you have this move to match brace. That's the option M. M stands to move. So I'm here, and I want to move to the match. They will move to the match bracket, the brace. And then there is the shrink extend selection. This is really cool because you don't need to select like this, that I'm doing manually with the touchpad because I'm proficient in touchpad. Then you can use the command option up, and they will select for you. Really cool feature. So now let's go to the fourth one example. Is the scratch. This is a really cool feature. So most likely you usually use the command N, and it's tend to new. So if you are here, I do command N. You can create a Java class, a Kotlin class, and so on. But there is also this scratch file, Command Shift N. What this is for? I usually use it to create like JSON, because as I work in a bank, it's not good to take the JSON response for the bank, put in the website just to format doing some stuff, because maybe I may leak some information. So what I usually do is Command Shift N, I create a scratch file. I just say JSON. Cool. So now I have a scratch file, that's a JSON. I will just copy the JSON, the response, and I just paste. Now I can use all the shortcuts to format the line. I format the JSON. Oh, there is an error in the JSON. Let's just delete this comma. There is an error in the JSON. F12, let's navigate to the error. Oh, there is the error here. Super cool. Or if you want, there is the command 7, the structure. You can see the JSON here, the structure of the JSON, and navigate them. Really, really, really cool. Another thing that you can do as well is not just create a scratch JSON. You can create also a Kotlin. And why this is cool? Because I can copy this piece of code here, and I just paste, and I can execute. And you're gonna see the result here. And then, for instance, I want to filter out. And then you filter out the list for you. So you can do some sample code in Kotlin to see what is the behavior before adding the code. So it's pretty cool, the scratch. And the cool part is this scratch won't be committed in your code because they stay here in the scratch and it's not part of the version control. Cool. Let's go to another example. 5. So inject a language. This is super useful because you can inject a JSON and a regex to use this command. So for instance, I go to some test file. So I have this home view model test, and not this one. I have the generator here. So I have this JSON here. I want to inject the language. Option enter is like tell the IDE, help me, show me the option that what I can do here. And you say, I want to inject a language. Which language? JSON. Cool. If you do again option enter, they add the annotation on the top. Why this is so cool? Because if you have some error in the JSON here, they're gonna tell you, the compiler. I can use F12, and they will navigate, there is an error in the JSON. And then also you have all this check style, all the grouping or folding that you can fold the JSON, and it's pretty cool. And beside that, we also can inject regex. So for instance, we have this case here, option enter, inject, and regex. Option enter again. They do the inject the language on the top, option enter, and then you can check the regex. So this is a phone number that's three numbers following by 4 numbers. So 1, 2, 3, hyphen, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, check it, it's green. So this check is working. If you put the number 8, now it's failing. So that means that we can validate and check before the regex. It's a really cool feature. So now let's go to the example 6. Multiple selection. You might face this kind of issue. For some reason, some companies has the keys and the translation in a spreadsheet. So I have this spreadsheet with the keys here and the translation. So let's just copy and copy this one. And how we can use the multiple selection. So we can go to the string, XML, and then we can just create 3 of these, and we select this and use the option G. That's the shortcut to add the selection. So option G. Oh, sorry, this one, option G. They select those 3. So now I can paste the thing that I didn't copy it properly here. So I will just copy here. And then I can paste in a multiple selection. So I can do the same with emit. So then I can go to here, select this one, and paste. So now I have all the string keys. So I don't need to copy one by one. That's super annoying. So the multiple selection is really cool. Sometimes you want to change some specific name and so on. You also can use. It's really cool, this feature as well. So now let's go to another example. That is the 7.md. Example 7. Split windows. So if you see when I was doing this demo, I was split many windows. So like this one, or maybe going down. This is really cool. So how I do this is you search for the command Shift A, look for split right, and you add the shortcut that you want. So I'm using this kind of shortcuts because it's easy for me to remember. Split right, it's going to the right. Split down, it's going down. Split and move right is with Control, and move down is with down. And if you want to move between windows, just use the Option tab, because if you use the Command tab, you have conflict with the system. And if you use the Shift, they do backward. So the next example is the folding. Folding is a little bit cool feature, so I will go to Home, Fragment, move here. So if you see the folding is, you can use the command dot to collapse, and if you do command dot again, they expand. You can use command Shift minus to minimize or collapse everything, or you can expand everything. And then you have the expand to a specific level. If you see the shortcuts, it's super annoying because they use nunlock. So I changed the shortcut and I add the Option command 1. It's easy because I don't have nunlock in my keyboard here. So just use the command Control 1. They will show all the levels, like all the methods or all the groupings, the custom group that I created that I will explain later. And so maybe I can go to another fragment dashboard. It's easier to see this one. So if I do the command 1, I see all the methods collapsed. So this is really cool. So if I want to expand, I expand all the methods using expand to a specific level. And then the home fragment, I create these regions. Some people says that this pollute a little bit the code. I agree, they pollute the code. But in case sometimes you need to use them to group them the code better, you can do this. So then, as you can see, if I collapse the code, I can have the attributes override public API, private API. If you do command 7, you can see how I group them as well. So maybe this will be useful. Or you have like a section that is just tracking. You can just create this custom folding. And beside that, why also this is so cool? Because this helps you to navigate when you use the Option command dot. So if I use Option command dot, I can navigate between the folders. So private API, I can also navigate to public API and so on. So now let's move to another example. Example 9 is almost done. Commit. So easy to remember. Command K. K stands because it's Kotlin? No, because command C is copy. So you need another letter that sounds the same. So let's use K, command K. And if you use Shift, it's more powerful. You perform the push. So that means if I do command K, then you open the screen to commit. And this is any IDE. If you use Control Enter, it's this button that will be clicked. So if you have another Windows that has a button, if you do Control Enter, then you select the one that has different color. It's a default pattern. And then you can also use command Shift P to push the code as well. And some tips that I give is to create shortcut for fetch and create branches. So if you look for fetch, I create the shortcut Option F. And for branches, I use Option G. Why didn't I use Option B? Because B I'm using for breakpoints. Because it doesn't have one nice one, so I use B for breakpoint and G for Git branches. And why this is cool? Because I'm working in a project, I do Option F. You can see that I fetch the project, and then I do Option G, and then I just go to my branch. I just main, and I can create a branch from here, new branch. So this is super cool. Let's go to the last example, the number 10. Stack trace. You maybe face this issue because every Android developer faces some bug. So usually you use Firebase, Crashlytics, or Stunbug, and so on. So you have an amazing stack trace. And the thing that I hate about those toolings is they try to show in a really nice visual way the stack trace. I hate it. I just want one button, like this one, to copy. So I copy the stack trace. So then you can use Command-Shift-A, you look for stack trace. And there is the Analyze Stack Trace. I added the shortcut Option T for Analyze Stack Trace. Then you can paste, they paste automatically the shortcut, the stack trace for you. And when you do this, they show here the stack trace. Now you can navigate here. Home fragment is the issue because it's throwing some exception here. And why this is nice about this shortcut, because you don't need to go to the stack trace, try to find what is the name of the class. It's the home fragment line 38, and you go to the class. You just need to paste the stack trace, so it's easier. Cool. Now I finished with the examples, but now I want to show some nice plugins for everyone. And the plugins that I want to show is plugins MD. So the first plugin that I want to show everyone is the ADB idea. You can go through this link. I'll share the slides and the presentation later. Use the option Shift-A. They'll show the ADB. So now I can uninstall the app, kill the app, start the app, restart, clear the cache, revoke permission, and so on. Really cool feature or plugin. And the best one, that's a must, is the Kotlin fill class. This is amazing. They give you like the option, enter option. That's easy to remember because you tell the ID, help me, give me some option. Why this is cool? Because imagine that I'm in a test, home view test. And I want to create a class, val domain for my test, domain equal domain, home domain model. Cool. If you see there are many parameters inside, it's super annoying to type out the option enter. Because of the plugin, there is this fill class constructor. They create for me. I don't need to work. They do this for me. And then I can fill out the information. This is super cool. Besides that, they just added this new feature that's fill class with dummy values. Now I don't need to lose my time to think about a random title, a random description, and body. So they just created this for me. This is super, super cool. Cool. Now we went with the demo. I will just give the final considerations. So the final consideration, the first one, I just show a subset of shortcut. There are many others to explore. My recommendation is go to the shortcut list and see all the shortcut that exists. It's just going to the key map inside the settings. There is a huge list of all the action that you can perform. You don't need to remember all of them. Just go through when you have time. When you are waiting for a flight, for instance, just go through because maybe you don't have internet. Just check them. Oh, this is cool. And maybe later you need to use, kind of the name. The next one is don't rush to understand all the shortcuts. It's impossible to remember all of them. Learn it by time. So that means when you need it, look for the action, try to understand the shortcut, and try to use. If you forget, it's normal. Everyone forget. But if you use again, you try to learn, try to understand, and use again. And time by time, you will remember the shortcut. And then the cool part is the shortcut set of each person is different because everyone is unique. Everyone uses different kind of shortcut or different kind of toolings. And by that is you are going to learn a different set of shortcuts. So your tool belt of shortcuts will be different for each one. Don't try to copy the other person because the guy knows all these kind of shortcuts and they need to learn the same shortcut. No, you are different. For instance, I use a lot of command lines, and then I decided to start to use more Git inside the Android Studio. So now I know a lot of shortcuts for Git in Android Studio, but my friend doesn't want to use because he loves use command lines. So just keep it the same. He doesn't need to learn those shortcuts. And then I want to finish the presentation with this quote from Steve Jobs. learn continually. There's always one more thing to learn. Not only Android Studio, try to learn shortcuts from the other softwares. That's gonna help you to understand why it was created and using the other softwares. So every time it's exchangeable, the shortcuts. So it's pretty cool. So thanks for the presentation. And here is my QR code. You can scan. I will post the presentation and also the demo there.